Good afternoon, students. As we have discussed in our last class about the physiological changes during the pregnancy, and today let us see about the diagnosis of pregnancy. The reproductive period of the women begins at menarche and ends in menopause. So, what happens? The reproductive period of the women beginning is called as menarche and the ending is called as menopause. So, this reproductive period of the women extends from the 13 to 45 years. Let us see the duration of pregnancy. So as we know, the duration of pregnancy is about 9 months and 7 days to 80 days or 40 weeks calculated from the first day of last menstrual period. This is called as gestational age. So depending on the last LMP of a mother, so we will calculate her EDD about the 40 weeks. So this is called as gestational age. So next, the fertilization occurs 14 days after the first day of the period. So let us see first trimester. In first trimester, the subjective symptoms, the presumptive symptoms of early pregnancy. The presumptive symptoms are nothing but the evidenced or the true symptoms of early pregnancy. So the first symptom is amenorrhea. Amenorrhea is absence of menstrual period. The second symptom is morning sickness. So it lasts rarely beyond the third month. Intensity varies from the nausea, loss of appetite to the vomiting, but usually it does not affect the health status of the mother. So as we know, in morning sickness, it rarely beyond the third month, and this intensity varies from the nausea, loss of appetite to the vomiting, and usually this morning sickness does not affect the health status of the mother. The third symptom is frequency of maturation. So in this frequency of maturation, it occurs due to the stretching of the bladder during the 8th to 12th week of pregnancy. So here the mother will have the incontinence of the urine. The fourth symptom is fatigue, that is the general discomfort. The fifth symptom is breast discomfort. So next one, the objective signs. In objective signs, we will see the breast changes. So in breast changes, so the breast becomes enlarged, the nipple and the areola becomes pigmented, the Montgomery tubercles are prominent. So here the Montgomery tubercles are nothing but they are the sebaceous glands that appear as a small bumps around the dark area of the nipple. So this Montgomery tubercle function mainly is lubricating the breast as well as keeping the germs away from the breast. Okay, then per abdomen. Per abdomen, the uterus remains pelvic organ until the 12th week. So let us see the pelvic changes. So here we will see the many changes in the pelvis. So the first sign is the Jack-Weimer sign. So here the Jack-Weimer sign is a purplish discoloration of the mucous membrane of the vagina that occurs early in the pregnancy. So what happens? The mucous membrane of the vagina, it becomes purplish discoloration. So this is called as Jack-Weimer sign. So let us see the vaginal sign. So the vaginal sign is also called as Chadwick sign. So what happens in the Chadwick sign? In Chadwick sign, the vaginal wall becomes bluish discoloration. The non-irritating mucus discharge also present during the 6th week of pregnancy. The increased pulsation felt at lateral furnaces of the vagina is called as Osiander sign. So what happens here? The lateral furnace of the vagina where the increased pulsation will be felt. So it is called as Osiander sign. So here in Chadwick sign you can see this is a non-pregnant state and pregnant state we will see. So in non-pregnant state the uterus is in pink cervix, and where in pregnant state it is a dark bluish discoloration due to the increased vascularity. This is called as Chadwick sign. So let us see the cervical sign. In cervical sign, the cervix becomes soft during the 6th week. So this softening of the cervix is called as Goodell sign. So let us see the uterine sign. In uterine sign, the size, shape and the consistency of the uterus will be a pear shaped. When it comes to the 6th week of pregnancy, the uterus becomes hen's egg shaped, and during the 8th week, the uterus becomes cricket ball size, and the 12th week of pregnancy, the uterus is in a globular shaped. So this asymmetrical growth of the uterus is called as Picassic sign. So here in this picture you can see the Picassic sign. What happens? The asymmetrical shape of the uterus. So this is the asymmetrical shape of the uterus detectable in the area where the ovum has implanted. So this is called as Picassic sign. So let us see the Hagar sign. So this Hagar sign, you can see in the during the 6 to 8 weeks. So what happens? The isthmus becomes softened, and the upper part of the body of the uterus is enlarged by the growing ovum, and the lower part of the body is empty and extremely soft. So here you can see the upper part becomes enlarged due to the growing of the ovum, where the lower part is become very soft. So let us see the Palmer sign. So what happens in the Palmer sign? When you do the bimanual examination, during the contraction the uterus becomes firm, and during the relaxation the uterus becomes soft. So this is the bimanual examination. When you do the bimanual examination, so during the contraction the uterus becomes firm, and during the relaxation the uterus becomes soft. So let us see the immunological test done during the pregnancy. So the main principle of the immunological test is the pregnancy test depends on the detection of the antigen present in the maternal urine or the serum with the antibody available commercially. So what happened here? Mainly you are detecting the presence of HCG in the maternal urine by using of the antibodies available commercially. So the first one is the immunoassay without the radioisotopes. The immunoassay without radioisotope is agglutination inhibition test. So this agglutination inhibition test using of the latex particles coated with the anti-HCG monoclonal antibodies are mixed with the urine. So what happened here? We will take the maternal or the mother serum and we will mix it with the this latex particle coated with the anti-HCG monoclonal antibodies. So what happens here? If the agglutination reaction indicates a positive result when the urine sample contains HCG. What happens if the test is positive? The agglutination reaction indication the positive result when the urine sample contains HCG. So when the absence of agglutination, it indicates a negative one, that is the HCG without the urine without a HCG. So next test is the ELISA. So what happens ELISA? The ELISA stands for enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. So this is a more sensitive and specific to detect the antibodies in the blood. So the second one is the immunoassay with radioisotope. We have seen the first one without a radioisotope. So here we are seeing with the radioisotope. So in this, the radioimmunoassay by using of I-125 iodo HCG antibodies, we will detect the presence of the HCG in the mother's. The third one, the radioimmunoassay. In radioimmunoassay, it can detect the presence of the HCG by 8 to 9 days after the ovulation. So let us see the fourth one. The fourth one is the ultrasonography. So in ultrasonography, so during the 5th week, you can see white gestational ring, and the 6th week you can see the fetal pole yolk sac, and the 7th week the cardiac pulsation you can see, and 8th week embryonic movements you can see, and the 10th week you can see the fetal heart rate. Okay, so this is about the immunological test. Let us move on to the second trimester. So that is from the 13 to 28 weeks. So in second trimester, what happens? Symptoms: the mother will have the nausea, vomiting at the frequency of the menstruation subsides. So what happens during the second trimester? The mothers will not have the nausea, vomiting and frequency of the menstruation, but amenorrhea continues. So the next symptom is a quickening. So in quickening, what happens? It denotes the perception of the active fetal movements by the women. So what happens in quickening? The mother will feel the fetal movements during the 8th week. Okay, so in general examination, the cholasma, the pigmentation over the forehead and the cheek during the 24 weeks. What happens? This cholasma symptom you can see in the mother during the 24 weeks of pregnancy. What happens? The pigmentation over the forehead or and the cheek, this is called as cholasma. So next we'll see the breast changes. In breast changes, the breast becomes more enlarged with the prominent veins under the skin. So next one, the secondary areola are present. Montgomery tubercles are prominent, and the cholesterol becomes thick and yellowish. That is about the 16th week, and the strium may also be visible. So let us see the abdominal examination. In abdominal examination, so during the inspection, you can see the linea nigra and stria gravida. So this linea nigra is about the 20th week, and the stria gravida are the pink and white visible lower abdomen and it more towards the flank. In palpation, the fundal height appropriate with the gestational age. So what happened during the 16th week? The height of the uterus midway between the symphysis, pubis and the umbilicus. What happened at the 16th week? The uterus, you can see the uterus. The height of the uterus is midway between the symphysis, pubis and the umbilicus. Okay, and the 24th week, the uterus is at the level of the umbilicus. The uterus feels soft and elastic and becomes ovoid in shape. The Braxton Hicks contractions are evident, and the palpation of the fetal parts during the 20th week, and the active fetal movement, that is about the positive evidence of the pregnancy during the 20 weeks. So this is the picture. It is about the fundal height is measured in centimeters from the pubis symphysis to the topmost portion of the uterus. That is to the from the pubis symphysis to the xiphisternum. You can see according to the fundal height is measured in centimeters. So let us see the investigation. The investigations are sonography. The routine sonography at 18 to 20 weeks reveals about the fetal anatomy, placental site, cervical canal, and also gestational age is determined. So during the 18 to 20 weeks, so in sonography, it reveals about the fetal anatomy, placental site, and the cervical canal, and also gestational age is determined. It gives a EDD and also scanning EDD. And let us move on to the third trimester. So this trimester is ends from the 29 to 40 weeks. So the symptoms are in third trimester are the progressive enlargement of the abdomen. So the third trimester you can see the progressive enlargement of the abdomen due to the growing of the fetus. Then some mechanical discomfort, that is the mother will have the palpitation, dyspnea, and lightening. 38 weeks, a sense of relief of the pressure, symptoms due to the engagement of the presenting part. So what happens here? The lightening means the head of the fetus engaged in the maternal pelvis is called as lightening. And the other symptom is frequency of the maturation reappears. So the next one, the Braxton Hicks contractions are more evident. So here the Braxton Hicks contractions are the very uncomfortable contractions to the mother. What happens here? These are also called as false labor pains. It may begin before the true labor pains begins and closer to the time of the delivery. So what happens? The sporadic contractions, relaxations occurs in the uterine muscles. And the next one, the fetal movements are easily felt. The palpation of the fetal parts, that is a lie, presentation and position of the fetus are determined. What happens when you do the palpation during the third trimester? You can able to say the lie. Lie is the nothing but whether the baby is in transverse position or whether the baby is in a lie, whether the lie is in a transverse or the longitudinal or the oblique. So that you can able to say the presentation, right or the left, and the position of the fetus are determined. So let us see the estimation of the gestational age and the prediction of expected date of delivery. So let us see how you estimate the gestational age, or the based upon the LMP, how you estimate the expected date of the delivery of the mother. So based upon the Naegele's formula. So mostly we will use this formula by expecting the date of the delivery. So this Naegele's formula is a standard way of the calculating the due date for the pregnancy. So it is about the 280 days calculated from the first day of the last menstrual period. Okay, so this rule estimates the EDD by adding the year, subtracting the 3 months and adding 7 days. For example, to the date of the first day of the LMP, that is 22nd June 2019, add 7 days, that is for 22 add 7 days, that is a 29. So subtract 3 months. So for June we will subtract 3 months, that is a March you will get. And so this is the how you have to calculate the EDD for the based upon the LMP of a mother. Okay, so this is about the diagnosis of pregnancy. So if you have any queries, just call me and clear the doubts regarding this topic. Thank you.